And welcome back everyone on the Decoder channels for special streams today with Min from Ostro. Welcome home, man. How are you doing?
Hey, GM, everyone. Excited to be here with Vincent. Yeah, I mean, it's such a great opportunity for me to, get on the show, talk with Vincent, just talking about NFT and, a lot of other stuff today. So, yeah, excited to be here and, hope everyone have a good time.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it was like pretty straightforward because when I saw like the announcement with Digod and stuff, I checked like your profile, slide in the DM, can you come on the channel? And then you're here. That was easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's really open, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's how things should be in crypto and Web3, right?
Mm.
Just really transparent, be open, supportive. I mean, it's a small world, So yeah, just being here, being real, and just like chat with you guys. So
Awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, again, like for everyone, like yes, slowly coming up on the streams. Um, for me, like decoders and the channel is has been made to talk to people like me because I want people to understand, like, and yeah, like the viewers to understand, like the VC mindset, and that's what we are going to do today. I want to know more about your thesis, about what you're doing, how you think about the ecosystem. But yeah, let's start with like an introduction. Like, can you introduce yourself and tell us what you do with Ostro? And yeah, we're gonna
yeah,
start from there.
for sure, for sure. So you guys call me Ming, right? I actually joined crypto back in 2017, so it's been a while.
Yes.
Just getting to first investing the few coins and tokens. So really nothing serious. But then I really got into it in like 2020, 2021 with the
Nice.
DeFi summer. So yeah, so that's when I really went all in, and basically I joined Coinade, which is the
Mm,
brand behind Ostro. So I joined Coinade back in 2020. So it's been almost 4 years now.
nice.
And yeah, it's been an amazing ride, and it's quite a journey with the team. So a bit of a context there. We basically started out as a community-based, research-based community in Vietnam back in
Okay.
2017. We then 2 years later in 2019 we started doing product, and yes, our core product is a Connect wallet. We have like a lot of user based in like Vietnam, Southeast Asia, and all the emerging markets like India, Turkey,
Nice.
Nigeria. And then from that, right, with that base we start building on other products, and we start two fundraising, and then we actually were on Binance Launchpad in 2021. And then yeah, we also have like an investment arm, so we do investment incubation on the token side, and
Mhm.
recently we have Ostro, which is like NFT fund, so we invest in like NFT collections now. We also help projects to expand in Vietnam, things like that. So pretty much what we are building is like a whole ecosystem. And but yeah, today let's talk about
Nice.
more about Ostro and the NFT side. So yeah.
Oh, and okay, first question, like, where is like the difference between an NFT fund and classic VC, venture?
Mm. So I think so the first off, the main difference is of course that the on
That's it.
normal VC they invest in token and equity,
Okay.
and for an NFT fund basically we just focus on NFT collections, not even like the studio behind it, equity behind the studio or something like that. So it's really the biggest difference, and I think the way that how we do due diligence is also a bit different as well. So normal VC they probably have a lot of things going on with the due diligence, right? They have to like do KYC, KYB. They have to really get to know like the team, look at a lot of things like tokenomics, the product, and things like that, right? I
Hmm.
think on our end, NFT style is a bit more flexible. We so also we also do a lot of like DD as well. But for us, we look at top three things, right? So one is the founders or founding team, really important. I think for both like tokens or
Yeah.
NFT. The second thing we look at is the community, which I love about like D gods, and youth as well. So really passionate community. And the third one, and it is the main difference, I would say, is the IP, the potential of IP.
Hmm.
why we're doubling down in on the NFT fund. So we really look into like projects with huge potential of IPs, and which also reflect by the founders too. Like what's their end game? What's their vision? And
Mm,
that's one thing that we always ask the NFT founders, right? What's the end game for them? What's the vision for the NFTs? Like, what you want to build, and then what does it look like at the end? So look at those are the top three things that we look at as an NFT fund, and
okay.
I think that comparing to a VC side, there's a we can be a bit more flexible, especially if we just like invest in the secondary market. So yeah, I mean those are some other things.
Okay. So do like pre-mint or like post-mint collection, like both? Because the two announcements you did was like Pudgy and Deagle. So do you prefer to
Right.
invest in established collection, or you could in the future go with pre-mint ones?
Mm. So I think for us right now, we are more comfortable, looking at like the all the established and the blue
Yeah.
chip one already. See, because again, back to the point of like having the potential of IP, right?
Mm,
Only established one have that kind of potential. I think. Of
100%.
course, you can look at like a pre-mint, just look at the art, right, or the
Mm,
team behind it. Then you can like somewhat feel it, like the potential, but it's really hard, right? And you can see this with Ordinals right now, with
yeah.
because they are like really early stage. So I think that for us, we are open to actually look at the both like incubation and pre-mint NFT as well. But for now, if let's say we're gonna deploy a sizable investment, it's gonna be on the established ones. Yeah.
That makes sense. What's the size of the fund?
So right now there's two part of the fund. One is on just like invest in like secondary market, right? So secondary market like Apache, like
Yeah.
DGOTs, those usually we have like roughly about like couple million to deploy, and then we have the IP side. So that's the potential of the IPs. So it depends case by case, but I think the fund can be up to 10 million for
Damn.
the potential IPs. Yeah. We pretty much like look into that because this is like because if it is like a really potential one, we have to
Yeah.
figure out a way to monetize the IP as well, and and that alone is not just like on the investment itself, but also like on potential of collaboration about different products. Because under like 98, we have the whole ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
We have like platform and everything as well. So, but again, if let's say that's on the entity side, but let's say if let's say a studio that own or the company that own the IP, and they only have like investment for the equity of the company, for example,
Mm,
to actually monetize the IP, then we have to go to on the token and equity side. So
yeah.
that's a different story, right? So
Okay. That makes sense. And okay, so what an IP project means? Like, what do we put behind that term?
so I think that so this is it's a hard question, right? I mean, it's yeah, even for the founders, right,
Yeah.
of such projects where they say, oh, I have this kind of potential IP, but I mean, to us, IP or potential ones can be as as small or as like early as just the idea, right? But how you have the plans or the structure of the way you want to do it
Mm-hmm.
is really showcase that. Oh, let's say for example, right, you have a founder, but he got like, is he a first time founder, or is it like a serial
Yeah.
entrepreneur that already exited a few companies before? So that's why, for example, when I talk with Luca for Pudgy Penguin, right?
Yeah.
That guy is really smart. Like even he's really young. So, but
Mm,
he's really smart. He know what he's doing. Also really competitive, which is good thing for a founder. Like if he want to do something, he's gonna be number one in that.
mm,
And I think we can see that with Pudgy, right? And yeah, so I think that coming down to, you know, the story of like IP and all that is more about like the art or the potential or anything like that. It's just like the base, the founders, and then how like they can make it to the end game
mm.
is a huge part. Yeah.
That makes sense. And okay, so basically, it will quite similar to like a seed for startup, right? Even for established project, anyway. Because okay,
Yeah.
so you have like the NFT. So basically, the NFT collection is not a rug; it's some
Yeah.
success, but
Mm-hmm.
like the stage of investment, it's quite early anyway, right? In the NFT. Okay, so but it's also the NFT side of it. It's the asset
Right.
itself, right?
So I think to make it a bit more clear is that uh, if let's say like we always ask the founders, right, like what's the best way to get involved in the ecosystem, and they
Mm-hmm.
always say, of course you have to be part of the community, you have to own the NFT to be part of
Mm-hmm.
the community. So that's the only way. There's other ways that there are teams that exploring right now, like through tokens or through different ways like equity into the company or things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But that just like depends on how they want to structure it too. Like we talk with like I think like 20 plus projects for the last 2 weeks about different how they want to do with NFT, and only a few of those like know what exactly the end game for them is like.
Yeah.
Everything else just like quite yeah, like they don't know what's the end game yet. So I think it's harder for us to invest in that sense, right?
Mm.
So we know like a great founder is like, because we work with like we invest in like your tokens and whatnot for like last 5 years 6 years already. So we already have that experience, but we want to see that in like NFT
Yeah.
market. So that's why we started this. Yeah,
Okay, that makes sense. And so you see a bright future in the NFT space, right?
for sure. And
Yeah.
and I hope everyone here is too. That's yeah, we believe in NFT. We believe in it's gonna make a strong comeback as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that all the top collections is also looking toward that. And yeah, and that's why we have the fund now, and that's why we're deploying now. I think we
Mm.
are like around the bottom. Yeah.
Nice. And did we figure it out this NFT market in terms of like utility, not even utility because even like IP is the utility itself, right? But like the execution of the NFT and build a community around like yeah, what's the NFT means by itself, right? Like because 2021, 2022 markets like we change the meta every 10 days. So we try some shit, right? And we learn some shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, what's your vision on that?
Um, I mean, I think I also joined NFT quite late. I would say, if I'm
Mm,
being honest, right? I think I started looking into NFT back in like 2021. With the I think that's where all the grave, the hype, and everything started as well. But to me at the time, I was really skeptical. Like, not
mm,
gonna lie, right? I was really skeptical because I was like, okay, it's just to me, NFT basically is just like a proof of ownership, right? And if you're talking about like technical stuff, like
mm,
okay, you basically you can prove it on chain, you own this. But it's still what the meme back then, right? Why I pay
yeah,
so much for JPEG, right? The thing you can like right click and save it.
yeah,
The thing is that to me, like after that, when I just like thinking about it as like on technical side or looking at as a whole of the landscape, but then when I first got into a community, I was like, okay, this is what it's all about, right? Is it the NFT itself or the utility? There's no utility right now. Come on,
mm,
like there's no utility to NFT. Everything that NFT access, like give you access to, is the community. That's it. Like
yeah,
to me, at least, right?
yeah,
Like you own an NFT means that you can get access to that community. NFT get it basically.
mm,
So there's a lot of communities out there that I mean, to be honest, I don't have all the time that I can be part of, even though I love to
yeah,
be figure it out. But even for a few ones that I'm in, yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do. It basically is like a private membership kind of
yes,
like club, basically for all the NFTs holders out there. And yeah, I think to me, it's the biggest right now utility for NFT, just the
yeah,
access to the community. I really want to see more of the utility, like the actual, like on the product and the technical side of the NFT as well, like NFT ticketing or NFT membership. I think those can be really huge,
mm,
but we need to see like a big player coming in and have that kind of technology and just go wait for like mass adoption.
mm,
We cannot see, like we see a few like festival or events having like NFT ticketing, right? But those are like really like fragmented and
yeah,
small compared to like the huge market for ticketing out there in Web 2.
mm,
So I yeah, back to the point of like NFT to me right now is still the access to community, and then
yeah,
but hopefully I think that 5 years 10 years from now we can see that more as like a mass adoption with like the NFT as a technology underneath. People don't even know it's an NFT, right? For example,
Mm,
like you buy a ticket, actually it's an NFT, but you don't know it. It's just like a digital pass or something like that, right?
mm.
So I think those are kind of things that we might see in the future. Yeah.
Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Pengzu, like if you have any utility for no vision for pudgy penguins, let us know in the chat because
Yeah, yeah.
I know Pengzu like really well. We are in the DMs, and I know he will be vocal about pudgy penguins.
Nice. Yeah.
So yeah,
Hopefully that's
I'm
the
gonna check it
investment
out. Yeah,
that you see. But yeah, we're really bullish on Patrick
yeah.
Penguins as well. So
Like honestly, pudgy penguins execution is like pristine, and it's like it's it's amazing. But I think it's also like one of the survivors of the IP play, right? That's we can't have like 10 pudgy penguins at that level of the execution with Walmart, Target, whatever. Um, and I remember Frank once stayed in Twitter space, and I kind of agree with that. Like you have like NFT project with utility where you basically use the NFT to access more NFTs.
Mhm.
In terms of floor price, there is less likely going to zero. They will always have like utility price in. But with an
Mm.
IP project, it can go to zero really fast, or it can go to 1,000 soul, 100 soul. And it makes sense for a VC, right? Because that's the kind of returns that you want, right? You are willing to invest in a startup that will go to zero in 2 years when you can invest in Airbnb and like buy back your fund like 10 times, right? So it's cool.
Yeah, I think from the like a VC standpoint, right?
Yeah.
All the VC have like a way to exit, right? Because I mean,
Mm.
at the end of the day, it's investment. You have to find a
Yeah.
way to exit or take profit, right?
Yeah.
I think the thing, especially in NFT though, it's really different because on in tokens or in equity or any like type of investment, just like from traditional business, is
Hmm.
that you have to find a way that you can imagine where is your exit with, you know, the
Yeah.
liquidity of the token, right? So that's why usually right now, like the VC side is that they can invest, but the vesting schedule and things like that have to be really aligned on that. So that's why a few,
Yes.
actually, I know a few VC right now, they actually stop deploying, heavily, because they believe that only, let's say, for the next 12 months,
Yeah.
then you have to get the TGE by then, or else
Yes.
it's going to be really hard for them to deploy the capital, right?
Yeah.
And even for us, going back to the NFT point, I don't think we're gonna make money or like make the return on just like selling the NFT. I mean, because on our end, we want to double down on the IP side. This doesn't make sense for us just to buying low and selling high. That's like
Yeah.
retailer or
Okay.
personal investment, right?
Hmm.
I think for us more like how the team can do much more into the IP, and then for us holding the NFT is kind of like a guarantee towards like like the benefits from there, the return is going to be from
Mm.
there. So which is also, I think that for us is a contrarian bet, right? Everyone's like, NFT is dying pretty much
Yeah.
right now, why we invest in NFT and whatnot, but actually I think for us is that we're willing to make that bet. Is I think the same thing that you say, right? You're willing to invest in this company and then let it go to
Yeah.
zero. Also the potential of them going
Yes.
100x and make the return is also a worthwhile kind of risk as well.
Yeah.
So that's our thesis. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because personally, I stay away of any IP project in NFTs because for me, I understood DGods with like the PHP tax and all of the YC mindset. That I understand. For example, on Solana or KBS, I never get like the IP side of it because from me, you can tell that you will be supreme of the NFT, right? Like the community needs to give you that status. The community need to give you that IP. Again, for DGods, the IP is good because when you have a DGods PFP, you will get more engagement on Twitter too, right? So for me, it's like the Web3 IP that is valuable. Probably the same thing for Pudgy. But
Yeah.
like for example, like in UK, so you buy the NFT, you buy Pudgy Penguins, they announce a target deployment, so you will have millions of Americans who will be able to buy plushies.
Hmm.
Then what? Like,
Right.
you know, what's the road? Are you going to do you envision that it will be the next Pokemon for kids and stuff like that, and the IP will grow and your NFT will be like 10,000x from here? Like, what's the play?
Right. So I think that it's funny actually because this was a meme in the Apache community as well. Like, okay, what does that do to the holders, right? Like on the Walmart,
Yeah,
Target, GameStop, right? You know,
yeah,
all this kind of like announcement and hitting the store. So I think that's actually where it's the difference line, right? So I think to actually, if you just own one Apache as like
mhm,
a personal investment or something like that, or you just like the community, oh, I love Pudgy, so I just got one, for example.
mm,
Then, yeah, I think that alone, like to you, like I would say that affecting as a personal like or retailer investment is not gonna be that much, right?
mm,
Because they always ask, okay, there's like 8,000 or like around like 888 Pudgy. How can you license all of this
yeah,
to actually you make royalty on the IP, for example?
mhm,
I mean, actually, I think that some of the in the PUBG community they already run the numbers. Like actually, it's doable, which is like longer term.
okay,
And but then again, I don't think that's is the play for actual like retail or even for
yeah,
us at the BC side. I think for us more about like how they're gonna build up a part of it as well. And it's not just about the IP, right? The IP is a core of it, and they're building, so they're getting a lot of traction, but what they do with the traction with the IP is another
yeah,
story, right? So what I mean is that let's say there people also joking about like the views and the engagement they get from the GIF, right? They make a lot of GIF,
yes,
they get like 20 billion views or something like that. It's crazy, right? And and
same,
and yeah, and then people like, okay, so how does that benefit the holders? Or
yeah,
it's pretty much, I think it's pretty much clear in the high side that, oh, it's the IP. There are people like my friends actually using Apache Penguin stickers or GIF
yes,
sending to me, even though they don't know what it is. Like they don't know it's
exactly,
Web3, they know NFT, right? So I think for us that's just like fascinating, right? And we just wanna to have that and the ability to, okay, the team have that kind of like traffic. Now what they want to do
yeah,
is also another important, right? Let's say you got the hype, you got a lot of hype, but then what's next, right? Like
yeah,
if you not like follow up on that, basically it would die down, and you would just be like a legacy,
mm,
and no one talk about you anymore, right? I mean, I don't want to head on anything, but I mean, we can see it like a lot of that with NFT, especially, right? Because there's
yes,
a lot of like hype mint, or even like right now, there's a lot of like legacy collections out there, like Basie, and things like that. I mean, I respect the community, I respect everything as well, but there's like things like that, right? Like there's the things that once you really at the top, and but then you don't know like what to do next, like they do the
yeah,
game, they do everything like that. I think that not mentioning about the execution part, but just generally, I think that is already tough, and that's also set apart who are like actually the leader and the founder that can do things, right? And
mm,
Luke is one of those, like
yeah,
he like execute things as you said, pristine. So
mm,
I think that that is where it's really different. And yeah, and then IP, it just is a core of it. But once you have that, and how do you attract people to build around the IP? People building their own IP, like with the like Pachi,
it's
right? Like you
hard,
see a lot of like people doing stuff with it. But then from that, when you get a lot of attention, when you have like a high and the views, what do you do next? So
exactly,
uh, pretty much right now, Apache is the front face of NFT communities, I would say,
mm-hmm,
and everyone's gonna look at like what they're gonna do next. So I think that is where the potential and the investment can be
yeah.
validated from. Yeah.
But like, that success will be so hard to replicate. Like, for I think Pengzu, you tell me if I'm wrong, right? But like there is like 7 people just making the gifts, working
From,
full time on from the just for the gift stuff, like because they get requests from the community and stuff. So there is a staff dedicated. to making gifts. Like,
Yeah, that's actually true. Yeah,
yeah,
like I know the team that I'm not sure how many people,
yeah,
but I do know that there's actual team that just making gifts based on
yeah,
the request. So actually, if you go, I think PUBG should have like promoted this more. But there's a
yeah,
way for you to just go there and you submit your ideas of the
yeah,
gift, and actually the people are actually making it like right
yeah.
away, so you can have it like by a couple of days after.
Mm.
And it's funny because I tried with my Pachi as well, and basically I have my own gift now, like whenever I
Yeah,
want to say something, just
it's
use
cool.
it because yeah, and people use that too.
Yeah,
um yeah, exactly, like um yeah,
yeah,
like give it, like give them like what the idea is, give them like a brief,
yes,
a few
yeah,
sentences, and they can make it like, and then a few on this really cute, or a few of those like you just feel related because they're gonna use your budget.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's fun.
W- Which is okay. So for me, Web3 is all about like highly targeted audience, and then you can sell that to Web3 project, or like Web2 companies. We are like, for me, we are like the next Facebook ad managers from the
Mm,
2000, in the in the like 25, 26 years. So when you see Pudgy like making a tweet with Walmart US, and usually nobody give a shit about Walmart's tweets about the next promotion, but when it's about Pudgy, they make like 500,000 impression instead of 10K.
mm,
Just that justify all of the NFT market from my perspective, because it's an amplifier of like the cost per impression on Twitter without Pudgy for Walmart would be insane to reach those numbers. But
mm,
because of the community, they have that for free. It's massive,
yeah,
and that's why, yeah,
yeah,
for YouTube it makes sense
exactly.
to distribute videos and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And funny thing is that because so a little bit backstory is that I was a Pachi holder before,
Okay.
like a year ago. So I started joining the community a year ago, and yeah, as you said, right, everything you said basically is true,
Mm.
and getting there is just like a privilege of having that kind of like engagement and views.
Yeah.
And they really engage too. And the funny thing is that I know that there's a few teams that trying to build that as well. Is that how like they try to incentivize people to rocking the PFP, and actually to
Mm.
make like a social connection, not like a social fi in a way, but like just like people getting real connection and engage with each other, right? And I think Pachi also building something similar too, like how to like, because that they have the Pachi map of like everyone, where
Yes.
everyone is, and you can like go to a country, because
Mm.
I do Pachi Vietnam too. So like for
Okay.
example, you come to Vietnam, and you just like a group, you message like, oh, I'm coming to Vietnam, anyone want to hang on,
That's cool.
or things like that. Yeah, it's great, like this kind of like genuine relationships, and just like people just want to hang out, like chill and hang out, a really positive vibe. So I think that's
Yeah.
why PUBG is so popular, because it's like besides the QIP, I mean QIP is like the most popular IPs in
Mm.
the world, but also because of that, they're building up the community of like positive vibes, and builders vibe too. So yeah, so in Web3 specifically, you want to connect with those kind of people, and just like learn from
Mm.
them, and also connect, and maybe like find a way to collaborate. So yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I had that like when I travel in Australia and New Zealand. Um, there is like something similar to that chapters. It's called like Wild 42. It's like some guys in San Francisco that created that, and it's all around the world. As a French software engineer, you can meet other. It's great. Like you arrive to a country, you can contact them, and then they welcome you and stuff. It's fantastic, and I can imagine that at the with the NFT assets, because like for
Yeah.
example, like the first time I met like the my fellow G-gods in NFT Paris for the first time, that was magic, man.
Yeah.
Like it's really really great, which is crazy because yeah, you just like NFT bros on Discord, and then you meet
Yep.
them and say, "Oh yeah, what's up, man?"
Finally in person, right? Things like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, which is why I think the community is such a is
yeah,
as I said, right? I think community is only really utility of NFT right now. Basically,
Mm.
it opens up for you connections, easier for you to reach out people. I know. I think I heard this from the project community is that the founder and CEO of Layer Zero, right? He said that if anyone with the Pudgy PIP can DM him and he will reply. So
Okay.
things like that, right? I mean, things like that is pretty interesting to see because what it said to a community is that I I I I, I engage and I trust you or like I want to support
Yeah.
you just because you're part of the community,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's really powerful and I'm not sure how Lucas doing this with every founders that he met or something like that, but he got something in there that yeah, like people just want to invest or people just want to be a founder and support him. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Only fan for pudgy penguins. That's utility, man.
yeah, yeah. So,
No, it's
but I think the gods also really
yeah.
strong as well. I first joined as well. I actually I owned a youth a long time ago.
Nice.
But I finally got a chance to get into the community of D gods and a lot of others and yeah, really welcoming as well. So I feel like different communities have different either different tastes in the
Mm.
art or different kind of like different ways like when they want to collaborate or they want to just hang out or something like that. There's a difference, but you can always find yourself a part of it in all those kind of like communities. Like
Yeah.
I also own a few different other communities, and yeah, I mean to me, each one is have their own kind of thing, and you just find yourself which one you vibe with most, and you just
Mm.
like stay there. Yeah.
That's interesting. And like, do you think how do you curate a good community?
Mm, interesting question. So, I think for me is that it depends on like two things. So one is that it's actually have its own culture, because I think when you form a community, it's based on like the or a cult basically, right? We
Yeah.
all calling all these guy cult leader, where basically is that you believe in the vision of the founder or the cult leader basically, and you find yourself like surround yourself with like-minded people, right? So let's say if you, that's why I said you like go in and then you find out like all these communities, try to hang out with those for a few days, or actually try to have like a meetup in real life meetup, and
Mm-hmm.
you vibe with these people, you like these guys, and you want to hang out more. I think that's where actual community building, and that's actually how you curate the community, because all these communities, some of them actually you can be in part of many communities, don't get me wrong, right? Yeah, like for example, I also own Juice, I also own Pachi, I also own Azuki,
Mm-hmm.
Beans, all these collection, for example, Doodles, right? So all these guys, right? As long as you feel like you're part of it and you like hang out with these people, that's where actually you are creating for the community.
Mm.
And when you say about like a curated community, um that's, I think, to be honest, I think that's where is all it matters. I know that there's some really kind of like curated community or like really private or exclusive community
Yeah.
that can be said as curated as well. For example, art community. So actually, also I'm a part of art. So art is like, if you don't know, it's also like a really Asian focused curated community with like founders, builders, all the top guys that feeling like really well connected. And what it does is that it give you open up all the opportunities to be in there, work with these guys, open up connections, and they also give you perks as well when you travel
Yeah.
around. Like you said, right? You go to like Australia, and you just want to have someone to welcome
Mm.
you in the country. Same thing with art. So like it also one way is that depends on how private or how exclusive the
Yeah.
community is. It can be part of, as say, the curated. But I think that either way you can like do that with yeah, either in the big community like Pudgy or all the big collections, but also like curated one like art, where I think we have like around 800 members or something like
Mm.
that. Yeah.
That's yeah. That's definitely. And does the price action impact this community building in a way? Like, is the community better if the floor price is 30 is?
I mean, it definitely affect for sure. There's a meme, right? Like when
Yeah.
it's like 0 point ETH, it's like
Half the
trash, and then
shit.
it's like
Yeah.
Mona Lisa, right? So I think it's definitely affects for sure, and then it's not just NFT, man. It's the
Mm,
same for token, right?
true.
Right? I mean, price is the marketing.
Yeah.
If you, no matter how you look at it, um, as a builders ourselves, we always like, we don't care about the price. We just continue to build our stuff.
Mm,
But to the retailers, right? You have to look at the retailers' perspective as well. Is that all they know about you guys?
yeah.
They don't know. They may not know exactly what you're building. They may not know exactly certain things you're trying to do,
Yeah.
but know about the token, right?
Yes.
Or in this case, they just know about the NFT, right? So like NFT holders, right? They don't know exactly what, Luca or the team is trying to build, like, for the, for the end game or something like that. But they like being part of the community. They like the town hall he's giving, and he can share the most that he can share, and people like ally with that. So they like
Mm,
it, so they invest in holding an NFT, right? I think same thing. With token as well. They like the founders, they like the vision, right? They join, they hold a little bit of the tokens, they get a feel of it, and then they can invest more, or whatever. So I think price is like, even how much you try to neglect it from
yeah.
the product or the brand, is always affect, man.
Yeah.
It's always like, especially I think it's less with community building for on the entity side, because NFT is more like chill. People like,
Mm,
oh, NFTs. It's not like you like, they don't, some of them are like more collectors, they're not like investment.
yeah.
So yeah, so there's like less than that with NFT. But tokens, for example, like no one collect tokens, right? So tokens is pure investment. I invest basically is that I want to sell it higher, or I things like that. But NFT, right? NFT can be collector, especially art. There's different ways of art on chain that you can collect, or one art, those kind of things too. So I think for NFT, the price factor is less
Mm,
as compared to tokens, but it's always there. It's always part of it. Like, you cannot leave it behind. Yeah.
yeah. 1%. And token plus NFT, like with hybrid DeFi, like, do you see a future in that? As a VC, is that interesting for you?
Yeah, so that's actually really interesting, because we also look at a few of the NFT file, or NFT product
Mm,
protocols. And for us, I think that we definitely interested, right? I think that we are still looking for like more of a, way that we can be like a balance, or like a fit between the two, where it's just not just NFT or IP, or not just product itself, right? NFT file, or
yeah.
there's a lot of like really hype one out there right now doing, like Mintify is a good example, or a few other like, or Floor Protocol, or Wasabi, or
Yes.
RK, right? All these guys like doing NFTs related stuff is, I think that it really interesting, first of all. And but then for us as the VC side, I think it's more on the token or equity, right? Because these protocol eventually they will raise tokens, they're
Yeah.
raising the tokens, they're raising equity. So yeah, I think that for us definitely there's interest, and we want to see more, because we interested in both NFT
Mm,
and the
yeah.
product. So if there's a way that to see both of those in one of the really like world class team, and great background, great experience, then we would love to see that more for sure.
Yeah. But and because you mentioned like a lot of ETH project, right? But like, are you a chain agnostic now that
Yeah,
they got this bridging everywhere?
yeah. No, I mean, we are journalistic even with our own products too.
Yeah.
Not
Okay.
just NFT, right? So, yeah, we are really interest in like like learning about new stuff. So that's why I mentioned Ordinals. So
Yeah.
we actually
True.
really actively learning about Ordinals. We believe there's like huge potential there, but
Yeah.
to us it's really early, right? I mean, all these like top collection on Ordinals, like Puppets or Note Monkeys or OMB. These guys, like it's to us, it's really early, and even for us to invest, we don't know what's the potential there yet for the IP side, right? And
Mm,
then, but we are willing to learn. We actually would love to connect with like Ordinals, collections, and things like that. Even on the product side, before we actually uh like quite early on the Ordinal stuff. We actually one of the sponsor for Ordinal Summit last year in Singapore. So actually we actually catch up on these kind of like trends quite fast. The only thing is that we actually don't have enough resources to follow with all the
Yeah.
development with all the products like, right. But now, I mean, with NFT stuff, we actually would love to learn more what they're building. I know some of them are doing products too, not just NFT collection.
Mm.
So that could be interesting to see. Yeah.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Mm.
And that you're gonna be busy in the next few years, man.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, and I know that some teams are really really into ordinals, man. Like I know
Mm.
D Gods,
Yeah.
pretty though, because you guys bridge to
Mm.
Bitcoin as well.
Oh, we bridge
But
everywhere.
yeah, bridging everywhere, back and forth. Welcome home.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, I want this is something I want to learn actually, because I
Yeah.
wasn't there when the bridge happened, and then now it bridge back. But you are
Mm.
there, right? You're part of the
Yeah.
community for a long time. So what do you feel about all the bridging and then as of now, where
Mm.
it allowed you to bridge back to Solana? Like, what's your take on all of this?
So I think we judge the full story because we know the hands,
Mm,
and if it would have worked, it would be completely different.
mm,
So at the time of the bridge, Digod and Newt had like 90%, 80% of the volume on Sol, and I think like 70% who could afford the Digod or something had a Digod. Like the
mm,
number of wallet that could buy a new one, 70% of them had already one. So there is that. So the
mm,
growth was limited at that time for D Labs. So the
mm,
bridge makes sense. Then the bridge happened. It happened. Unfortunately, it happened during a bear market. So
mm.
Bored Ape was slowly going to zero. Azuki launched Elementals, which like they went from 15 to 5. And
Yep.
the 1 week after, we would have the bridge. We had everything aligned
Mm,
to go to the top one on ETH
yep.
if we
Yep.
were lucky, right? Then
Mm.
the whole drop happened, etc. And then like we got dumped by VC, by someone who hold NFT for, I think, yeah, maybe it's not public knowledge, but yeah, no, I think it is. She hold for a couple of hedge funds, so it was
Mm,
like some deals like that.
mm.
So she dumped 200 digods on the floor. Then we get not washed, but like farm by Machi, and then it's like a spiral of death, right? Like
Right.
it's hard to come back from it. So the end of story is kind of ugly, but I still think it was the right decision to do at that time when it was
Mm,
announced and shit like that. Everything makes sense. It's just like, yeah, we try some shit and sometimes we failed.
mm.
And but
Wow.
yeah, honestly, way more bullish on Solana than ETH. Like I hate every interaction I had on ETH network. I honestly, I would refuse to sign like to authorize a contract on ETH, even if it was to claim $1,000 and I had to pay 80. Just the concept of paying transaction, it
Yeah. Yeah. Especially if you on Solana before,
oh
which like,
fuck, man.
yeah.
Like every time I interact with another chain that is not Solana, I want to go back home.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
the UX UI on Solana is that strong that I don't want to do anything else. Even if it means like, okay, I can farm an airdrop on Sui, Aptos, whatever, whatever. Like
Yeah.
the UX when we are not congested, it's great.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
As someone's made the comment here, right? Going from ETH to Soul is easy, but
Right?
Soul to ETH is bad. And I think that I
Yeah.
agree. I agree, man. I think it's more about, like, I think for us, right? So actually a
Mm,
bit back story here as well. So Coin98, we are the one the first to support Solana on the
mm-hmm.
wallet side. We actually the first one, and this I can proudly claim that we're the first mobile wallet to support Solana. So
Okay.
actually, it was way before, like, Phantom, or like, I
Damn.
think when we first started, it's only us and Solat, and then Solat is like the
Yes.
one made by the team, the
Yeah.
dev team, right? So it was like no one there. And we were the first one. And I think because for us, but then we are like a multi-chain wallet. So I think when you are doing a multi-chain, it's always
Okay.
like, oh, but I want a native one, like only on
Mm.
Solana, that kind of thing. So that's why we have like, Phantom or Glow
Mm.
or Soulflare, all these guys, right? And but then the funny thing is that there's like Phantom after a few years they going Ethereum, they going Polygon. So
Yeah.
basically, okay, multi-chain as well. So I think it's all came down to what you mentioned earlier. It's about like the decision at the time, right?
Mm.
So even for us, let's say at that time we were, oh, we're gonna go on in Solana, right? We wanna just gonna focus on Solana only. We're gonna make our own version there. I mean, it can make sense, but I think that eventually we are doing what we are doing now, or what we have done, is all based on the right decision with the right amount of knowledge and the right amount of resources at the time,
That's cool.
right? So yeah, I think with DGOS and all the bridging stuff that you mentioned,
Mm.
and from your perspective as well, like on the DGOS holder, I
Mm.
think that makes sense, right? I mean, you agree with like what the decision was made at the time. And I think all the NFT collection out there, or even all the I'll put it this way, all the NFT founders or any founders in general, out there will somehow make the mistakes, right? It
Yeah.
just it's part of it. It's part of the journey. You're a founder, right? You make mistakes and then you have to move on. You have to
Every
like
day.
yeah, exactly. Like you cannot like just sit down and cry or something like
Yeah.
that. It's not how it is. So
Mm.
which I think Frank and Luca and a few others like
Yeah.
Zagabond as well, all these guys, they make mistake and then they move on. They
Mm.
actually like you know as you said, try some shit, fail, and then but
Yeah.
then you have to move on. You have to try new shit, and then you have
Mm.
to maybe one of those gonna be successful, right? I think Luca in some, and yeah, and then all others guys are like following that.
Yeah.
We don't have to compete each other, like, but this is why I don't like the idea of like try to compete with each other, rather than that it's just
Not
NFT as a
really.
whole. Yeah, like crypto or Web3 as a whole or blockchain as a whole, it's so small. Like, why do we
Yeah.
compete
Exactly.
here? Yeah,
Yeah.
like being more supportive, like trying to get more like Web2, get like mass adoption is the key. So everyone's doing that. I'm happy to help. I'm happy to support as long as you have that same vision. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But Frank and Luca are like at even Pac-Man, yeah, Pac-Man, like they're at another level of any founders on chain. Like the eh, you can feel that they are like something else. And
mm,
for this, it's cool to have them in your team because like yeah, they make mistakes, but then that's gonna give them even more energy to win next time. So it's
exactly.
definitely interesting.
Yep.
Okay, so quick, I want to talk about mass adoption, but first, why do you think the ETH money is not coming to Solana? Is that because they have an edge on ETH and they want to keep it? Like, what do you think the story is? Because again, UX is shit,
Yep.
bro. Come to Sol.
So actually, this is really interesting because when you mention about like the money not coming, I think that it depends on the
Liquidity.
market. Yeah, liquidity is
Yeah.
because, for example, you've seen meme coins with Solana. It's
Yeah.
crazy, right? There's
Mm.
like pre-sale going on and people raising like millions and millions of dollars just
Bro.
like in 24 hours, right?
Like
So
yesterday, 23,000 token launch on Solana.
there you go. and
Right?
and and I think at the peak it was crazy. Like I think
Mad.
that memes on Solana is another level.
Yeah.
Like with all the pre-sale, we started with pre-sale and all this kind of like I think it was started with Slurp, like the wave, right? But then
Mm.
we have so many others already out there with Bonk, with the all the Solana mobiles, the Saga phone with airdrops, like all these
Mm.
airdrops and meme coins. I think it's all started there already, and the liquidity and the money is there, but it's not just flowing in NFT. That's the
Mm.
thing. And I think even with ETH is bleeding too. Like,
Yeah.
ETH, Ordino, Solana, I think every like, NFT side is all bleeding because that all the money is elsewhere, right?
Okay.
They're on Blast, they are on
Yeah.
meme coins, like those are the things. But because once you, as you said, once you go from like Ethereum and you can go to Solana, UX,
Mm.
and the gas fee and everything as well. You don't want to leave, right? For example, like
Mm.
you are there, you want to come back, right? It's feel like home for you, right? So I think that is there. People know
Mm.
that, but I think on the retail or the whole landscape, the money is just elsewhere. It's not in NFT,
Yeah.
and that's why we feel like, oh, the next, let's say the next inflow, the money
Mm.
inflow coming in, if let's say we can do it on NFT, that's where we see the
That
liquidity
makes
coming in.
sense.
And I just talked with a few people recently, and they don't like it either. They don't like it. The money is like on meme coins, right? I mean, they
Yeah.
want it to be on NFT at least, because if not, meme coin is fun. It's good for retailer, like to get started or just be part of the culture. But like we would rather to have it on NFT, to
Mm.
be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's much more sense to
I,
me at least. But
I
yeah,
I have a hard time navigating in the meme con mania, man. Like,
yeah, yeah.
if you're not in the private group, how do you do that?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I know people doing it on public, like just
Yeah.
like, oh, pre-sale, send
Mm.
sold this is address, right? I mean, yeah, but to me still, I would rather to have money. Like okay, let's say if you don't want a VC backed token. So actually, there was like not a battle, but like a narrative going on, like,
Yeah.
oh, why meme is so like
Yes.
getting attention, because you don't want VC backed token, right? I mean, but then NFT, you can be like, you like the team, or if you
Mm.
like something like that, you can put the liquidity there. It doesn't have to be like meme coin all along. I mean, yeah, to me, meme is still something I have to wrap around, because I mean, I do have some meme just because they are meme. I like the meme, so I bought some.
Mm.
That's it. But like, I'm not expecting like like generational wealth or make a fortune out of it, or I'm not like a meme coin trader. I don't do that. So yeah, to me, it's just something that I haven't really figured out yet. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would rather to have the liquidity or
So
the attention to back to NFT. Yeah.
because yeah, again, like for me, NFT, the way I see it is like business angel investment. And oh, yeah, we should talk about, oh shit, 5 minutes, bro. We need to do like a
Mm.
VC show every month or something. That would be interesting because this conversation will can last forever. Um, but it yeah, again, so for me, NFT is like a kind of business angel investment
Mm.
for Web3. And
Mm.
again, that's why I want to initiate this conversation with you and like other VC, because again, that's the mindset that can allow us to avoid all of the gambling meta where you,
Yeah.
okay, I just pray that I'm not gonna get drugged and I can
Yeah.
pay my house with $10. I can buy a house next month with my $10 investment. And if you think we're like a business angel slash VC, wannabe VC,
Mm.
you can limit your risk and at least have some rational argument why you should buy a JPEG with a monkey on it for 20K.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, which is why I think that when we started this NFT fund is
Yeah,
because for me personally is also a learning curve as well, because I
mm,
was telling you, right, I started with like really skeptical about NFT, then I joined an NFT
yeah,
community, been there for over a year. Now I'm starting the NFT fund, so it's like really like a journey for me. And then
mm,
talking with these founders too, like I know I have the privilege to talk with these founders
yeah,
and learn from their stories, learn from their like the plan, the strategy, what they plan to
mm,
do, all the kind of things that I feel like, okay, now I know the landscape, right? Like out of like 20 people that I talk to, 20 founders I talk to,
yeah,
who have the sharpest mind or the
mm,
strategy and what they plan to do and things like that. And
that's
I
amazing.
can wrap around like, okay, that makes sense and why people think like that. And then from that, we can know like, okay, then you get the experience, right? Like
Mm,
you don't actually need to launch an NFT, but now learning from all these guys and also people making mistakes as well, learn from those mistakes, and from that you can actually have really strong
yeah,
foundation about like NFT in general. So that's the perks. But yeah, I think that I think that's even for this, for example, like talking with you, I also learned a lot as well on like perspective of like a holder, things like that. So yeah, really appreciate
Nice.
it.
That's amazing. And yeah, thanks to you because you're an amazing guest and you can come back on this channel whenever you want. Yeah, to continue the discussion. But okay, let's conclude on the hours on the mass adoption because Pengzu will be happy with that.
For
What
sure.
does it look like? What mass adoption means?
Mm. I think for me is and I think I saw this someone telling the same thing as well, and I really agree with it, which is where we see how people are using internet right now, right? People
Mm.
don't care about, oh, let's say for example, if I ask you like how does the internet work, right? People don't really care
Yeah,
about
no,
how does
exactly.
it work with everything on the technical side. It just works, right? Even people like even the kids now is like they are like, oh, I want to go somewhere with Wi-Fi because I
Mm.
can connect to the internet. I can do a lot of things, right? So I think that's actually mass adoption, and then the internet itself is not
Mm.
around like that long either. So if you think
Yeah, no,
about it,
100%. Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, like coming out from the last 20, 30 years, that's when we see like a huge, in terms of like internet and getting into mass adoption. And
Mm.
I think blockchain can be the same thing. And we're talking blockchain as a whole, right? Not just
Yeah.
NFT, but blockchain, for example, people may not realize they are using blockchain when they actually use it.
Yeah.
So I think that when we reach mass adoption, is actually blockchain abstract. So people don't see blockchain. They don't know about gas. They don't know about what
Mm.
chain they're using. They don't know what wallet is, right? All these things are going to be abstract. So I know that a lot of teams are doing on this, and I'm not saying about account abstraction, right? Account abstraction is just one thing. It's been,
Yeah.
I think account abstraction is just like one narrative has been played around for a long time. I think what I'm saying is like actually abstract from everything. Like you don't know what it is. It's just like an app. You use it, right? You don't know
Yeah.
why it's like on chain, why it's like NFT, or why is it blockchain related. So I think to me, adoption is where everything is abstract to a Web2
Yeah.
user.
Makes sense.
And one of the, I think I would say, genius or really clever way to marketing like all this thing is that a blockchain getting mass adoption, like your mom can get it, is the way, right?
Mm.
Because the thing that if you got the mom approval, it basically means that it's really easy to
Oh
understand
yeah.
and understand it, right? So as long as they can understand, as long as it's like easy to use enough, then we see mass adoption.
Yeah.
And if I'm being optimistic here, I think that we can see that actually in like around 10 years time.
Yeah.
So of course it's going to be regional based as well, which I think would be interesting to see, because actually the internet got like the strong usage in terms of like not just internet, but like the way how people to like interact and utilize that actually in Asia. So I think that if we
Mm.
see more and more of that, is for the way that people like interact with it, I think it's coming out from Asia. And of course, like not just like from Asia itself, but like
Mm.
we see it started there, or we see it's more like adopted there, and then of course in North America, Europe, everywhere else, we will see that it keep popping up.
Mm.
And at one point, when your normie friends, right, like ask you about, okay, oh, do you know about this or something like
Mm.
that, and that the tech behind it is actually blockchain enable. I think that's where you reach the mass adoption. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And see, like I knew Pengzu will react. I love the punching strategy for mass adoption. Targeting kids as early adopters is the best way to get positioned for the foreseeable future.
Mm.
From plugins to purgeable ash. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's a good one. Yeah,
I understand that, but for me the time frame is so long for that because
it
again,
is
like
long.
for example,
It's a long
like
time.
we're talking about 20 years. Like so,
Yeah.
mass adoption for blockchain 10 years. Okay, I 100%. It took my mom's like 3 years to understand how to send an email. If she hold a Bitcoin one day, sell because that's the top of the market. But like for NFTs, like it doesn't make sense for me to say that as like a startup mindset stuff. But I think Web3 and NFTs are like a counterculture,
Mm.
and it should stay that way instead of opening to everyone, because like today, like you are rewarded with the effort that you put on chain and to understand the ecosystem. The
Yep.
more you do that, there is a higher chance that you're gonna get rewarded financially for it.
Mm.
If we
No,
opened NFTs to normies and stuff, we're gonna like I don't know, like we're gonna don't give me a Web3 woke Web3. I don't want that. For example, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to. I want to stay a counterculture because that's what make it cool at NFT NYC. You know what I mean? And for me,
yeah, yeah.
mass adoption is like I launch a collection on Solana and everyone on Ordinals, Cosmos, ETH, Polygon have access to it and they can buy it because we are like blockchain agnostic in a way. But everyone, like the brand is everywhere inside this Web3 bubble.
Mm. I see.
Yeah.
I see. No, I
But
think it makes sense. But one thing I want to point out there real quick is that go on is that actually when you people are getting into crypto because of the financial gains, and
1%.
I think that yeah, and I think that itself is really true, which
Yeah.
make it can be a limitation, right? You think about it, right?
Yeah, no,
So
1%. Because
yeah,
everyone leave when you lose 70% of the asset, right?
yeah, that too. But I think the idea of it's the same thing as play to earn. I think to
Yeah,
me, so I'm a gamer, so I the idea of play to earn. I just don't like it because for
yeah,
me, the game has to be fun. You have to like
mm,
the game, right?
yeah,
That's the core part. So I don't think anything related to like financial gains is going to be trigger to the mass adoption. It's going to be there for sure. That's for
mm,
sure. But anything related to like a mass adoption can be something else, like consumer apps or NFT, right?
yeah,
NFT something that can actually open up the door for mass adoption. We don't know what it is yet, to be honest. We don't know what it is, but
mm,
I'm just trying to make a guess here. I think it's gonna be NFT, and it depends on what type of NFT is it too. It may be not PFP. It may
yeah,
not be what we're talking about right now, but like 5, 10 years from now, even 20 years from now, it may be
mm,
something like the piece of NFT that can be open the door. And I don't know. We may see it sooner, right? If we are being optimistic, right?
yeah.
So we'll see.
Nice. And I think that's a nice way to conclude the discussion. Let's
Mhm.
see how Pudgy Penguins will iterate on that mass adoption, which is that like right now they're killing it, like 21 billion GIF views impression. It's massive. So like if there is one project that can do it, okay, two with the gods, it's
Of
and you
course.
have both in your portfolio, right? So good job with
Yeah.
that.
Hopefully, finger crossed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much, Min. You were like, yeah, it was a awesome discussion. Definitely need to do that more often. Thank you, Pengzu, Aldi, Mitchell, and everyone in the chat that join us for this VC discussion, VC talk. That was
No.
cool. Yeah, do you have any takeaways like for the audience that you want them to, yeah, take away, basically?
Yeah, I mean, first off, just really thanks. First off, thanks, Vincent, for inviting me here today.
Thank you.
And everyone's tuning in. Yeah, it's great, just like talking with everyone here, learning from everyone. And then, of course, I would love to be on the show anytime. Just hit me up, or even like you just like talk with more people as well, like a
Mm,
panel, a fireside chat, whatever. I would love to join. And yeah, and again, I think that everyone, for us here in crypto already, just have like maybe a better look for NFT.
mm.
It's really something that unique in itself. And yeah, if there's a chance that we all see is NFT coming to mass adoption, hopefully we can like all see that together. So yeah,
Nice. Let's get to mass adoption then.
let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so yeah, thank you again. Everyone follow Min and Ostro Found on Twitter. You will find all of the links in the description down below and
Nice.
in the announcement everywhere. So yeah, make sure to put the notification on because when they're gonna announce their next NFTs batch, you should buy it.
Nice. Soon.
Sweep the floor.
Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah. But I mean, thank you so much. Yeah, let's talk again in the DM to see how we can go from there. But yeah, again, thank you so much. Great guest. And I wish you a great day, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate everyone. So cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. We'll see you in the next one. But before that, make sure to subscribe, like,